Okay, boys and girls. For the first one, it says water flowing from a faucet can fill a quarter of a tank in 3 minutes. So how long does it take to fill the entire tank? So what we want to do is set up a unit rate. So our unit rate would be this: 1/4 tank over 3 minutes, because time goes on the bottom, equals 1 full tank over I don't know how many minutes. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to figure out like an equivalent fraction. How do you get there? And you have a quarter to a full, to a whole. So think about how many quarters are in the whole. All right, so for B, whatever you get as a unit rate, so it's 1 tank over what's your answer for the first one, is going to equal then, it says how long does it take to fill 6 similar tanks. So if you have 6 tanks, that's what you know. What you don't know is how long. So how many minutes? So I'm not going to fill this in for you because I'll give you the answer for number 1. But whatever you have for number 1, you obviously see when we go from 1 tank to 6 tanks, we're going to be multiplying. And you're going to be multiplying by 6. So that's what you're going to need to do for your answer down here. Okay, next one. Let me just move it up. Okay, so we have a car that travels 135 miles on 5 gallons. What's the distance on 11 gallons? Okay, so we have 135 miles on 5 gallons, and that's going to equal how many miles, which I don't know, on 11 gallons. Okay, so we want to know how do we get there, but obviously it's kind of difficult to do. So we know that we need to simplify that. So if you simplify 135 over 5 gallons, you'll get your unit rate. Once you get your unit rate, then you can figure it out. Okay, so on the bottom one, the second one, you need your unit rate. When you get your unit rate from up top here, from problem A, it's going to equal then how far does it travel on 216 miles. So we have, sorry, how much gas does it use? So we have 216 miles on X gas. You put your unit rate here, and that'll help you solve the problem. Okay, last one on this page. It says Karen's driving, or Karem, sorry, drives his car 96 miles on 1.5 hours if he continues at the same rate. So the same rate means the same speed. So we need to figure out speed first. So we're going to figure out speed. So speed, if I put my finger over speed, I know it's distance divided by time. So the distance is 96 miles. Divided by time. Time is 1.5 or 1.5. That will give you your miles per hour. Once you have that answer, then you could figure out the rest. It says how many miles will we travel in 2.5 hours. So I want to figure out, let me just erase something. I want to figure out now how many miles. So miles is distance, so I cover distance. It's speed times time. So the speed, whatever you get here, let's put X as the speed. You're going to multiply it, and that dot means multiplication, by 2.5 hours. So 2.5 or 2.5 hours, and that will give you your total distance. All right, boys and girls, on the next one, what I would do is kind of set up a little bit of a table. So for here, it says that we, from 9 to 5, it's $3.50 per hour. After 5 is $7 per hour. So we're going from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. So one way, there's many ways to do it, but here's one way. 3 to 4, that's 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, equals $3.50. The next one would be 4 to 5, and that equals another $3.50. So then we are going to, we're going to 8 o'clock. So you could list them out like this: 5 to 6, 6 to 7, or 7 to 8. But you could quickly realize that that's going to be 3 hours. So each one is 7. So you could do 3 times 7 if you wanted. But what you're going to do is, anyway, we have to add all these up. So I have 3 times 7 is 21, and then 350 and 357. So you should be able to figure out that answer. All right, the next one is very similar to the one that we just did. And let's just go over number 6 now. Number 6 says a train moved at a speed of 90 miles per hour for the first 2 hours, and then slowed down to 72 miles per hour for the next 30 minutes. Find the total number of miles the train traveled. So what I need to do is distance, speed, time. So distance up top, speed, and then time. So find the total number of miles, which is distance, so speed times time. So the first part was 90 miles per hour, so that's the speed, times 2 hours, which is the time, so that's 180. So it traveled 180 miles. Then it slowed down to 72 miles per hour times, and it's 30 minutes. 30 minutes is half an hour. So you could write it as a decimal or a fraction, and that should, that will be 36 miles. You add those up, and that will give you your total distance. And that's the total distance for A. For B, it says calculate the average. So the average speed is this, total distance over total time. So total distance is what you get in 6A over the total time. Total time, you have 2 hours and then also a half hour. So total time will go on the bottom. All you have to do is divide those, and that will give you the answer. All right, for 7, all you have to do is find the unit rate for each of these. So you have serial box A and serial box B. So let's work on A first. Well, let's just do A. You guys should be able to figure out how to do B. So A is money always goes on top, so it's $4.20, and it's 14 ounces. You need to figure out the unit rate, so I don't know how much over 1 ounce. So all you have to do is figure out what you need to divide by. Okay, and remember, this is OZ. It's not 140. It's 14 ounces. So 14. I know it's a little sloppy. It's hard to write on here. 14 ounces looks like that. That will give you the unit rate. So you need to do the unit rate for each one. Okay, let me just delete this real quick. 1 second. Oop. Okay. Oh. All right. So number 8. All right. Mrs. Lieber takes 4 hours to drive 210 miles. If her average speed for the first 2 hours is 60 miles per hour. So the first 2 hours we need to figure out first. So again, this is distance, speed, time. So distance, speed, and time. So we want to find out the distance for the first 2 hours. So it's speed times time. So it's 60 miles per hour times 2 hours. So that's going to give us 120 miles for the first 2 hours. Find her average speed for the last 2. So what we need to do is figure out how many miles is the last 2. So if we started with 210, we have to subtract 120 for the first 2, and that's going to give us a total. Whoops. Well, let me just move that back. So that will give us a total. So her total there then is going to be total distance. We need to figure out what her speed is for the rest, meaning this. So we know what the total distance is. I'm going to put X because all you have to do is subtract these two. I don't want to give you the answer. That's the distance. We need to find the speed. So if I cross out the speed, it's going to be distance divided by time. So this is the distance divided by what's left in her trip. So it's a 4-hour trip. If she went 2 hours for the first part, the second part obviously has to be 2 hours. So whatever you get for the first part of the problem right here, you're going to use that as your numerator and then divide by 2 hours because that's your distance. So it's distance divided by time. Okay, the next part I think you guys can do. The only thing that you need to realize when you do this problem is that it says the weekend, well, a couple things. Weekend, Saturday, and Sunday. They mean each day is $45. So Saturday's $45, Sunday's $45. So if you use a weekend, that's going to be $90. For B, what they're asking you for is an entire week. You start on Tuesday. When they say entire week, they're going from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. So you're going from Tuesday and you finish up on Monday. It's not Tuesday to Sunday. It's Tuesday through Monday. All right, the last page here is distance, time, and speed. So remember that we have our triangle. It's distance and it's over speed and time. When you do these problems, they're hair tricky because I'm going to help you with the first one, because we want time to be hours, and they have it in minutes. Now, when you do this, you're not going to get full hours, meaning this. The first one, they want average speed. So if we want speed, we got distance, we cover speed, we got distance over time. So the distance is 30 miles. It's distance over time. And then it's 150 minutes. So 150 minutes, 60 minutes is an hour. So 150 minutes is 2.5 hours. So you can divide it by either 2.5 or 2.5, like that. So that will give you your answer. For another one, let's say number 2, you have average speed again. So it's 221 over 195 minutes. Well, 3 hours is 180 minutes. And then you have 15 minutes left over. 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. So it's going to be 3 1/4 or 3.25. And that will give you the answer.